we're going to dive right into how important it is to be able to communicate and connect with your team. Now, this is something that we all have to do all the time. And no matter what phase of work that you're in, no matter how long you've been doing work, connecting with people is essential for work. And so I'm reminded though of something really you would think is basic, but it's something that's still so essential for effective communication and effectiveness and efficiency for organization in football. So I remember my rookie year playing with the Atlanta Falcons. I was so excited to finally make it to that level. I had been fortunate to play high school ball and was fortunate to play college football at Penn State and had success. And I couldn't wait to get that NFL playbook. And because what's all the secrets? What do they call this? How did no? It's still football. It's still the same game, but it was an entirely different playbook. And I opened the playbook because back then it was still in a paper, binder, three-ring binder that you go and you turn. So I opened up the playbook, and guess what's on page one? The dimensions of a football field. A football field is 120 yards, 10 yards for the end zone, a 100-yard playing field, and 100. It's so many yards wide. What do you call outside these lines? Out of bounds. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is the NFL. This is supposed to be like the secret sauce of everything. And you're literally breaking down the dimensions of a football field that we've been playing on our entire life since we've been in Pee Wee. And then it gets better. After each play, you stand in what's called a huddle. And there is a diagram with where every position would stand in the huddle, and that all eyes would be on the quarterback, and the quarterback would give a cadence or a play call in this manner. He'll say the formation, the play, the snap count, and then repeat it. The formation, the play, and the snap count. And then this is in writing, literally in writing. And then the group in together, when the quarterback says ready, everyone will say break and clap your hands and you will run to your position. If you'll notice, every NFL game, unless you're in a hurry up offense, there is some form of standard method of communication that offense or defense goes through every single time. And I thought, well, maybe they just did it my rookie year and, as the orientation. But guess what? Every single year, the first meeting of the year goes over how do we communicate? Where do you stand? Who's talking? What attention do you give? And so as we break this down for business, I want you to think about standardizing and not assuming that things that should be just commonplace isn't necessarily commonplace, especially when things get so busy and everyone is doing their own thing and they're trying to run and do their jobs and do it effectively, and they fire off the email and they run to the meeting and all these things are happening. But if you don't slow things down intentionally and standardize your communication, then things can go awry and people can get off track. And one group is trying to do this play and someone else is trying to do something entirely different. So I'm going to share three specific strategies that can build relationship and build communication within your company immediately. So the first one is a relationship building strategy. Now, none of this is rocket science, but it's all things that are just basic, commonplace. Start here and make sure that you're checking the boxes of what things are a part of your standard operating procedures within your organization. So the first thing for relationship building within your organization is you want to have and make sure that you are modeling active listening. So show genuine interest in your team members' input by summarizing their points and asking clarifying questions. Don't get so caught up in your meetings that it's always a one-way conversation and not a two-way conversation, or at least I heard you, but now this is what I'm saying. The second thing, to build relationships within your organization, show empathy, understand individual challenges, and provide the support where needed. Now, I realize that sometimes that means that we can't talk business all the time, but by being present with your team and letting them know that if you need me, I'm here for you, you're going to get them to lean in, buy in, and trust you even more, which means that they're going to be working harder for you because they know that you care about them. Then the third piece in building relationships is transparency. Share your goals. Discuss how you make decisions. Share updates openly and honestly and consistently to build trust. Those three things can help you build relationships. And in fact, score yourself on how well have I done last year in active listening, showing empathy, and being transparent. If those scores are low, then that's going to negatively impact your capacity to really build your organization and build your team effectively. The second thing, some simple team building activities. Now, I'm going to say this first one, and you say, wait a minute, is that a team building? It is. The first one is have one-on-one meetings. Some people need your undivided attention. So even though it is efficient to have more group meetings, in order to build your team needs to know that you believe in them as a person and individually, and they need to know that I have time to have your ear. The second thing, of course, conduct workshops, do skill development and especially for those creatives or people that have been doing things for over and over again. Identify what are the biggest issues or challenges or opportunities that, man, if we were able to do these things and my team was able to develop this skill or sharpen this axe, man, look at how more effective we can be as an organization. So you dream and craft the subjects and the skills that you want them to cultivate throughout the year. Of course, have social gatherings throughout the year. Ask yourself, well, what type of cadence should that look like? Should it be formal, informal? But again, if you're trying to be a transformational and inspirational leader, you have to be able to have the time where you are bonding with your team and your team is bonding together. And then the last one within team building activities, recreation or recognition rituals. Recognition rituals. So this is either weekly shout outs, monthly shout outs, some form of awards or achievements that you have structured that they know if I do this, I'm going to get this shout out. Everybody loves participation trophies. Everyone loves to know that, hey, if I do a good job, I'm going to be acknowledged and rewarded. And at the end of the day, we all need to know that, you know what, I appreciate my boss, my manager, my leader giving me a pat on the back because I've been grinding for so long. And I appreciate the fact that someone took the time to acknowledge the work that I've done. The last thing is to have clear communication practices. So there's three things for you to do this. One, set expectations. Clearly define your roles, responsibilities, and goals. You'd be amazed with how many times, even though you may have said something initially, it could have been in writing initially, but as time goes by, if we don't go back to what was written or go back to those clearly defined roles can get blurred and miscommunication can happen really quickly. Second piece, tailor your messages. Adapt communication styles based upon individual preferences. Some people prefer emails. Some people prefer a quick talk in a hallway. Some people need your undivided attention and want to know that you talk to them. Get to know your people and how they need you and meet them where they are so that way they can feel loved, appreciated, and affirmed. And then last one, follow up. Summarize your action items after meetings to ensure clarity. And if you do those things, you're going to be building a healthy organization by setting clear foundations of how to communicate, what they're experiencing when you communicate, and setting expectations after you've communicated. So, Beth, JB, What do you think of as I was saying that? I saw some head nods and some other things. What came to mind when I was talking?
Yeah. So, first of all, when you talked a little bit about just the basics, right? You opened up that playbook and they took you from the very beginning of, the dimensions of the field, what we're going to say in the huddle, what we're going to do in the huddle, how we're going to line up, all of that. I do think that there is such safety in just knowing the basics. And I think that when people understand from the get-go, what are our one, two, threes? What are our basics? What is our mission? What is our vision? Where are we going here? Like, what is this about? I think it comes back to what you just shared, this clear communication. I really do believe that clarity is kindness. And so, anything I've ever been a part of, or anytime I've ever watched an organization succeed, everybody knows which direction they're going in. They're not just getting in the canoe and rowing. They're getting in the canoe. They know where they're going, and they share this vision for what's to come. And that clarity and those basics, truly, to me, is safety. So, I'm just thinking about that. How about you, JB?
Yeah, those were great, Freddie. I was like taking copious notes here while you were doing that. Every time you talk, I learn more. And that's the other thing. I want everybody to know, it doesn't matter if you're a master at something, you can always learn from somebody else. So, try to gain that information. Uh, Freddie, I love it. You have to be a master at the basics. People say, okay, what's the difference between like, the regular military and special operations? Well, they all do the same thing: shoot, move, and communicate. Special operations just do it more refined and faster, but they still do the basics. They do the basics very well. So you have to become a master in the basics. And if you do that, then you can just put speed and repetition to it. But the second thing I thought was very important, what you said about the one-on-ones, how you have to meet with people one-on-ones, whether it's just 5 minutes, uh, a day, or if you can do 10 minutes a week or whatever it is, and, not interrupted, not on your phone, not doing other things. Wait, I got to take a call. Like you give them that personal attention, and then you can actually like almost look into somebody's soul and figure out like what they're good at and that sort of thing. So those two things for me: become a master of the basics, and how important one-on-one is for me was my big takeaways. And I think, Freddie, I'll add to that, the one-on-ones, we do so many things digitally now that I think like having a conversation with somebody is like, whoa, I mean, I have to go talk to that person. I'll just Snapchat them, I'll text them. I don't even know what Snapchat is. It's like people taking faces of each other. I can't understand it. But the more that we interact with people, the more that we can bring people um, on our team and see what's important to them.